Bodyboarding Basics. This video is all about setting you on the path to go from zero to hero in the bodyboarding world. Expect to be able to trim across an unbroken wave by the end of this vid. First things first, buy yourself a bodyboard. I always say to spend as much as you can possibly afford, because this is going to enable you to get a bodyboard which is made out of the best materials. These materials will allow the bodyboard to perform better, but they'll also allow the bodyboard to last. It can last up to 10 years of bodyboard. It's a really great investment. Look for a bodyboard that's got a stringer running up the center of the board. That's a strengthening rod. And when you hold the bodyboard in front of you, it should fit under your chin and to the top of the knee. That's the right length. Get out there, grab a good one. You've got your new bodyboard, the first thing you want to do is unwrap it and get it in the water. But don't be too quick, you need to do a few things first. Get it under some water and give it a good rub with a wet cloth. This is going to take the slime off the board which is left on there by the polythene wrapping. Then get a dry cloth, give it a rub as well to then completely make sure it's all nice and clean, otherwise that slime will stay on there for a while. Then it's time to wax up the bodyboard and get out there in the water. Waxing up your bodyboard changes from the first time you do it to the multiple times afterwards. So what do I mean by this? Your bodyboard initially needs lots of wax on it. So I'd very rarely say that because I don't love wax on my bodyboard, too much of it anyway. But where your hands go, where your chest's gonna go, where your stomach's gonna go, and on the top of the rail chine, that's gonna be the key areas to make sure that are nice and grippy once you've got a new board. After you've done that the first time, you don't need to put as much wax on it each time, but I say the key areas where your hands are going to go, where your forearms are going to go, it's important to wax them up on a regular basis because those are the areas that are going to give you traction when you're trying to do the specific maneuvers. It's really important to get a decent pair of swim fins, flippers, whatever you want to call them. They need to be comfortable, so comfort is king with fins. Take the time to go into a bodyboard shop if you've got one near to you, try a few different pairs on and go for the pair that feel the most comfortable for you. Some people have wide feet, some people have narrow feet. It's so key to make sure that they stay on your feet and that they don't pinch or rub. Another way of avoiding rubs is to wear what we call fin slippers or flipper slippers. They're little neoprene socks inside your fins. They stop the fins rubbing really well. You also get neoprene straps, coverers. They're called heel shields, we call them. They stop it rubbing on your heel. And of course you can get wetsuit socks, which completely cover the whole of your foot. But I personally find that they make your feet feel a little bit too buoyant. So work out what works best for you and then invest the time in the brand that are going to be the most comfortable for you because they're the ones that are going to set you up for good bodyboarding life. If you're going to be bodyboarding in chilly waters, it's essential to buy yourself a wetsuit. Again, the more that you can afford, the better the wetsuit's going to be, the better that wetsuit's going to keep you warm. A key feature with bodyboarding is that you don't want what's called single line material on this part of your wetsuit, so on the stomach area of your wetsuit. Single line material is the stuff that looks slick, smooth skin. That stuff, A, wears out easier on your bodyboard, and B, kind of grips your bodyboard when you're laid on your stomach and gives you like a wedgie, so it's no good. You don't want single line on your elbows either. That wears through quicker when you're bodyboarding. I always prefer to go for a wetsuit that's either zipperless or has a front zip. The lower level wetsuits these days are the ones with the back zip, and the reason for that is they're a bit cheaper to produce and they tend to let water slip down the neck a little bit easier. Fit is everything with a wetsuit. It's really important to try a few on, make sure that it's really skin tight. So the key areas are the lumbar panel of your back, that needs to be really taut, under the armpits, on the back of the legs, in the groin, it all needs to be fitting really well. Don't settle for a wetsuit that's a little bit too big, it just won't work. And if you're falling under the illusion that you're buying a wetsuit to grow into, the wetsuit just won't work. So get a fit that's really skin tight. Get out there, try a few on, have the patience, you'll get a good one. An important piece of kit that's going to save you a lot of swimming, but it's also increasing the safety aspect with your bodyboarding, is the leash. Most bodyboarders choose to go for a bicep leash, a bicep coil. They're the most on-trend leashes, and there's good reason why. They stay out of the way, they're usually positioned just below your bicep and above your elbow, and the coil comes away from the inside of your arm, attaches to the plug, and the plug fits in your board. Now, with a leash, I always say plug the leash plug on the side of your board where which is opposite to the arm that you're wearing on, then that leash stays out of the way. When you put your leash on, have it coming away from the inside of your arm so that when you're laid on the board, it's going to sit on the deck of the board. Little safety tip, before you go bodyboarding, run the leash through your fingers, make sure there's no nicks or knots in the cord, make sure that the string is well attached and that the thread on the plug is good. Then you can be confident that when you fall off, your bodyboard's going to stay near to you, you can grab it, paddle back out. Fitting your leash to your bodyboard involves putting the plug into the deck of the board and into the bottom of the board. It's a pretty specific technique. Watch this video and it's going to tell you exactly how to do it. So you've got all the gear, now it's time to go bodyboarding. You can't wait to get in there, but you just need to hold your horses a little bit. The reason is you want to make sure you're going to the right break at the right time to get the best conditions, and there's a few ways to do this. The first thing I do recommend is suggest that you check out websites like Wanna Surf, which have a guide to different surf breaks around the world. It's really useful. There's also books like the Storm Rider Guide, which have breaks, and they list whether they're good for intermediates, advanced beginners, and the sorts of wetsuits you need to wear. There's loads of really useful information on there. I then say look at Surfline. Surfline's a great website which guides you through what the conditions are, what to expect in the coming days, and it has a really cool system where it gives a color grading of whether it's going to be good or not so good. So even if you don't understand things about the swell period and the wind direction, it's super easy to see. But spending some time on that website and learning how it works and what those things mean is definitely worth it. Next thing, have a look at the webcams. So simple, you can tap on which beach is doing what, and you can see which waves look as though they're going to be most suitable for you. So on the morning that you're going to go surfing, or the afternoon, whenever you've got that spare few hours, have a look at those webcams. Oh, that beach looks nice, fun waves, not too crowded. That's where I'm going to head to. Those few things are going to really improve your opportunity of getting good waves. It means that you improve your fun. When you get down to the beach, if you haven't bodyboarded before, without a doubt, the best technique to try and employ immediately is called the jump launch technique. So that's leaving your fins on the beach or in the car. You're not going to use the fins at first. You're just going to take your bodyboard, you're going to hold it with one hand on the nose, one hand on the outside rail, and you're going to walk out to the line up, making yourself as small to the oncoming waves as possible so they don't knock you back. Be aggressive walking through those waves. When you get out to waist depth water, then it's time to turn round, point the nose of the board towards the beach, wait for a wave, bend your knees, okay, get ready, and when that wave comes, you're going to smoothly dive onto your board in front of that wave so that it connects with the tail of the board and pushes you towards the shore. Now it's really key to be like a swan. You're going to try and jump on the board in a smooth flowing motion, not drop like a stone. The momentum and inertia that you gain from diving forward is the thing that's going to help you stay on that wave. Timing is everything. When you're on the bodyboard, on the wave, get as much of your body on the bodyboard because that's going to reduce drag. And remember, the further forward that you move, the more you're going to increase your speed, the more you're going to accelerate. But beware, if you don't have your head up, you might nosedive. So a few key tips there, jump launch technique, go for it. After you've nailed the jump launch technique and you're getting wave after wave and going straight towards the beach, we kind of call that belly boarding. Now it's time to start bodyboarding, and bodyboarding is all about catching a wave and riding it in a trimming position, so going across the wave rather than straight towards the shore. Now to be able to trim, you do exactly what we talked about with the jump launch technique. You get onto a wave, but then you move your weight forward, put your head up and your weight down, your shoulder into your elbow. You hold if you're going to go left, your left hand on the front corner of the board, your right hand on the opposite rail. If there was an invisible line between your elbow and your hand, that's where you hold on to it. Your elbow pokes out like a chicken's wing, and then you look, lean and lunge in the direction that you want to go, and that makes you track across the wave. Now the bigger the white water, or if it's a double up white water, so two that come together, the more speed you're going to get and the more you're going to zip across that wave. And and then you'll really feel the buzz of bodyboarding. Okay, so it's now time to start using the swim fins. The reason that we use them is to enable you to paddle out through the breaking waves easier, and then when you're out through the breaking waves, to catch the unbroken waves easier. So the first thing you do is get your fins on the beach. Slide your foot into them, you put your fin tether on if you've got one, or fin string. You then walk out backwards, and the reason you walk backwards is because as soon as you're in ankle depth water, walking forwards in fins is super hard. The surprising thing is that you walk out all the way to above waist depth, so sort of rib depth water. By walking backwards and holding your bodyboard next to your stomach, it makes it easier to sort of bust through the waves and get out to that depth. Now when you get to that depth, it's time to start paddling. I call this paddling position number 1. You're going to lay with your hips off the back of the board, your arms straight and your hands holding onto the front 2 corners. That's going to enable you to get your hip off the back of the board and kick with the whole of your leg from the top of your thigh all the way down to the end of your fin, keeping your fins under the water. It's really critical that you're not making loads of splashing, because that is going to sort of waste your energy and you're not going to get from A to B as quickly as you could. So you've got your swim fins on, you're in paddling position number 1, you're kicking out towards the horizon. It's really important to keep your legs fairly straight under the water and have a real economical use of movement, so that you're keeping the fins just under the water surface, which is maximising the bang for your buck that you're getting with every kick. Now once you get out back, it's time to try and catch an unbroken wave. This is like a critical big step in your bodyboard, and once you've done it, you'll be loving life. So wait for a decent sized wave, position yourself in front of the steep part of the wave, that's called the peak. That's going to be the easiest place to catch it. Make sure that nobody else is on that wave, and then try to employ something that I call paddling position number 2. So that's where you're a bit further up your board, 2 hands on the front corners still. Your hips should be on the tail peg, so that's the back corners of the board, so that you're applying pressure through the heel of your hand onto the nose of the board to keep it flat. You're applying pressure with your hips against the tail to keep it flat, so that the board's then planing, and then you're kicking with what I call a 0 to 60 technique. So you're going from still to as fast as you can possibly kick in the shortest period of time, just as that wave comes upon you. Now it's really important that you kick and kick and kick until you feel that the momentum of the wave is moving you forward without the need to kick. At that point you go into the trimming position, either in a left hand direction or a right hand direction, depending on which way the wave is breaking best, and then you try to ride that wave with a nice high line, looking, leaning and lunging to maximise your speed across the wave. Once you nail that, you're killing it with your bodyboarding. So you've got out there and you've caught your first unbroken wave. It's a real key part in your bodyboarding career. You'll be smiling from ear to ear. It's at this stage of your bodyboarding life that we can really help you. This is what we do. We welcome people on our international coaching holidays of all abilities, or on our coaching weekends or lessons in the UK. And what we do is we sort of determine where you are with your bodyboarding and where you want to get to, and we create a pathway to help you do that. We've got some fantastic coaching techniques: video analysis, GoPro in the water, obviously verbal stuff, coaching on the beach, and being right next to you every step of the way to help you get the most out of it and have loads of fun. So, don't hesitate to drop us a line if you want to chat about that, or, message us or drop something in the comments below. But we also love creating these videos. This is, you can tell it's a labour of love. We love what we do. Nobody's going to be a millionaire out of bodyboarding, unfortunately, but what we'd like to do is create a really amazing channel. And in order to build the channel and really continue to sort of build on our production values and deliver the best stuff to you, we just really need you to subscribe and like this video. Again, comment below always helps. And yeah, we'll keep on churning them out and love to hear what you want us to make next.